So if you want, you might want to throw a bolster underneath your hips to raise your hips a little bit higher. That can be quite nice on the lower back. But again, find what works for you. And maybe rock from side to side to connect your sit bones down into the earth. If you are seated, sitting up nice and tall, letting the shoulders soften out of the ears, resting the hands on the knees or in the lap. Again, finding something comfortable and supportive. There's nothing worse than settling in and then you're like, oh, I'm not comfortable. So do just take a little time to get settled in. And maybe closing the eyes, maybe keeping them softly open. Again, totally up to you. Some people like to place an eye pillow over the eyes. I wanted to bring our focus to the heart chakra today. The world needs your love. Her people are suffering mentally, emotionally, economically, physically, spiritually. And today you can send your healing love to her, to the earth, to the collective human race, to your family, to your friends, to your colleagues and your neighbors, to those you've never even met, and to everyone and every being in between. My intention for today's meditation is to guide you through a prayer, a wish, a dedication, whatever you want to call it, that will help you send healing and loving energy out into the world so we can collectively shift out of darkness and live in the light. So let's begin. Bring awareness to the heart center. You might even place your hands over your heart if that feels comfortable for you, or just a little touch, and then maybe back hands can come back to the knees or by your sides. And living at the heart center, swirling is fourth chakra within the chakra system. Anahata is what it's called in Sanskrit. And it's associated with the color green, this glowing, swirling center right here in the heart. And it's associated also with air, the element of air. So breathing. So begin to bring your awareness to the breath. Breathing in deeply, exhaling completely, forcing the rhythm of your body to slow down. Feeling the coolness of your breath coming in through your nose and the warmth exhaling out your nose. Feel the rhythm of your breath like the waves of the ocean. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting your body soften a little deeper. And as thoughts come up, just recognize them and let them go. Bringing your attention back to the rhythm of your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Feel the warmth inside of you, gathering around your heart. A soft white light hovering in a sphere, charged with a deep desire to heal. Send your love there, to this sphere of white light hovering at your heart. Send your compassion, your kindness, your empathy, your healing prayer or wish to this sphere. And see it as it grows, this ball of light. See it as it gets charged with your love. This ball of light lives in your heart. And now it's time to give it to the world. So take a deep breath in, getting your whole body and mind and spirit ready to release your light. And as you exhale, imagine this ball of light shining out onto the world around you. Let your light shine on your family, your friends, your neighbors, your country, your world. Continue to see yourself shining your light brighter and brighter with every breath out as you hear yourself silently say these words. May love heal our world. May we all choose kindness and compassion. May those who are sick heal. May those who are anxious find peace. May those who are in pain be relieved. May those who have light to spread come forth. May those who have darkness in their hearts find love. May the individual and collective fear be washed away. And may the light inside of me radiate out onto the world and every being who is a part of it. As you see your light beaming from you, feel all those around you energetically, whose light is also shining, that glowing green light at your heart center. Open the floodgates of compassion and understanding. And see that one by one, hundreds, thousands, millions of people are around you, each radiating with their own source of light, shining it with healing and love out onto the world. May the light inside of me and the light inside of all of us together heal our world. If your hands aren't already at your heart center, bring your hands there to plug your thumbs into your heartbeat, bowing your mind to any intention that you may have brought to mind up during this meditation today. We'll connect our breath with movement. So on your next breath in, let's float our arms up overhead, nice and slow. Follow that exhalation up and joining the warmth of your palms together overhead. As you exhale, draw that energy to your heart center. We'll do that a couple more times. Deep breath in, arms reach up to the sky. Connect the warmth of your palms together. Exhale, sliding your hands to heart center. Do that one more time. Inhale, arms reach up. Find length along the spine, hands joined together. Exhale, slide your hands to your heart. Bring your hands down by your sides, maybe tent the fingertips on the floor. Deep breath in, reach your right arm up and over. Soften through your left elbow. Keep the right shoulder circling up to the sky. The sides of the neck are long, anchored down through your right hip. Good. Remembering that our heart center is a three-dimensional shape. It's not a paper Valentine heart that we stick to our chest, but it has a dimension, right? So we're going to work all sides of our heart today. So now starting in the side of the heart, imagine the side of your heart beating out the right side of your body. Inhale, come back through center and honoring both sides of our body by reaching over to the right, softening that right elbow, Left shoulder reaching up. Maybe finding a very gentle pulse here. And imagine the left side of the heart beating outward. Beautiful. Come back through center. Join the palms together overhead. This time we'll interlace the fingers, flip the palms up, reach up and out through the side body. Taking those palms, press them forward. So now we're stretching the back of the heart. Rounding the back, tuck the chin. Release the hands, roll over the knees, coming into tabletop pose. I'm going to move over to my mat so that you can see me a little bit better here. And you might want to slide a blanket underneath your knees. Let me move my bowl, my crystal bowl here. She's a diva. She likes to be front and center, but I'm going to move her. I'll bring her back on stage later, but for now, I'm going to put her off to the side. And from here in your tabletop pose, go ahead and walk your wrists underneath your shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Find some firmness in the lower belly. Take a deep breath in, bend the elbows, slide your heart forward, lift your gaze. On the exhalation, pressing the floor away, round the back, tuck your chin. Inhale, arch upward through your cow pose, inviting the spine to warm up. Exhale, rounding the back. Let's take one more round just like that. Inhale, soften the elbows, shine your heart forward. Exhale, press the floor away, rounding the back. Beautiful. Come back to a neutral spine. Keep your hips aligned right over the knees. Walk your hands forward. Slide your shoulder blades wide apart and allow your heart to soften down towards the floor. This is called puppy pose. It's a variation of downward facing dog, and it's a great way to open up the heart. It's also called anahatasana, and anahata, if you may remember from our meditation, is our heart chakra. So anahatasana, let your heart soften down, maybe rest the head, the forehead down. And breathing here. Firm the lower belly to protect the back body. Take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Simply shift forward onto the forearms for Sphinx pose. So the elbows are aligned underneath the shoulders. Press actively down through the bones of the arms. Peel the lower belly off of the mat. Lifting your heart forward, bring your chin parallel to the floor. And pressing actively down through those forearms so that we're letting the heart open forward into the front. And pressing down through the hips, the tops of the thighs, the tops of the feet. This will all help to get into a little bit of a heart opener, but also protect the lower back. So if you're feeling kind of pinchy in the lower back, then activate even more, lifting up and out of the shoulders. Take a few more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. You can relax a little bit here. We're going to take our right forearm parallel to the front edge of your mat. Left fingertips come over to the edge, or rather the left side of the rib cage. So pressing down, we're still like we're in our Sphinx pose. So press down through that right forearm, loop the left shoulder up. We're moving into more of an upper body twist here. Keep the left hip anchoring down. Take a few breaths. If you want to cast your gaze over your left shoulder, please do. Take one more breath in. Exhale to unwind, even out the sides. Left forearm parallel to the front edge of the mat. Right fingertips by the right rib cage. Lift the right shoulder up. Keep the right hip squaring down, bringing this twist in the upper part of the spine. We want to be mindful of that lower back. Taking some deep breaths. One more here. Inhale. Exhale, unwind, come back through center. Bring your hands alongside the rib cage, behind the shoulders. Press into those hands and send the hips back into child's pose, balasana. So arms can be reaching here if you'd like, or wrapping around towards your heels, your choice. Another choice here is to bring the knees together to help release the lower back. Or if you want to get deeper into the hips, maybe take the knees wider. So just find what works best for you. Taking a few deep breaths here. Feeling the expansion of the belly down into the hips. Take one more breath here. And on your exhalation, begin to slide your hands back to your knees, coming all the way up to seated. Now here's where I really like to have a blanket underneath my knees, just for a little softness. So we're going to come into what's called a camel salutation. A camel pose is a back bend, but we're not going to go into that particular pose. We're just going to kind of move through this flow to help warm up the body. All right, so we start here in kneeling, hips right over the knees, hands at heart center. Okay, on your next breath in, reach the arms up overhead. It's like a little seed sprouting up from your heart center. And if you want to, you can invite a little bit of a back bend here. Take the arms out and wide, circle them around, and as you do so, begin to bow down. Scoop the hands underneath the heart center and reach from the back of your heart, round up very, very slowly. And we return back to our starting position. Okay, so we're going to begin to flow through that a little bit more quickly. Inhale, arms reach. Maybe invite a little bit of a back bend here. Exhale, circle the arms down and around. Begin to bow the heart forward. Scoop the hands underneath the heart, rounding the back all the way up to our starting position. Keep going. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, circling the arms down. Begin to forward fold. Scoop the hands underneath the heart center. Imagine the back of the heart lifting you up and returning to starting position. Keep going. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, circle down and around. Using the breath as your guide here as you move. Scoop the hands underneath your heart, round the back. Come up to kneeling. We'll take one more. Inhale, arms reach. Float it down and around. Coming into that forward fold. Inhale, back up to our starting position. So hopefully now the body's like, all right, we're doing stuff now. Okay, from here, walk your hands forward into tabletop pose. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up into downward facing dog. If you were using a blanket, you can take it off to the side now. And then moving it the hips a little bit, rocking the hips from side to side, pedaling out through the heels just to invite the legs to the party. And from here, take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it go with a deep sigh. Inhale to soften. Exhale, very slowly, take a little meandering walk all the way up to the top of your mat. No rush at all here. That should be my tagline. No rush at all. All right, bring your feet up to the top of your mat. Enjoy this forward fold for a couple of breaths, keeping those knees nice and bent. If you want to, you can grasp opposite elbows, a little sway from side to side, shaking the head yes and no. Releasing those hands back down to the floor. Take a breath to ground. Exhale, slowly, slowly. Roll up one vertebra at a time. And once you reach the top, the arms reach to extend that energy skyward. And exhale, hands come to heart center, Tadasana. So standing up nice and tall here. You might even invite your eyes to close for a few deep breaths. Just having gratitude for your body that allows you to practice yoga, for you to cultivate positive energy and send this out into the world. From here, on your next breath and arms, reach up. Let the shoulders follow this. Exhale to fold. Uttanasana. Now from here, keeping those knees nice and soft, you can reach around for the hands, or you can also grab a strap or a towel or a t-shirt, whatever you got handy, and lifting those arms up and away from the lower back. Maybe it's here today, maybe it's here, wherever you are. Letting the forehead soften towards your shins. Keeping those knees nice and soft, head and neck are loose. Good, very slowly. Imagine that someone's pulling you up from your hands. Slowly unwind, shift the sit bones back and wide, moving into Utkatasana, chair pose. Slide the sit bones back and wide, track the knees over the ankles, lower belly lifting in and up. Elbows bend here into cactus arms, or another thing that I like to do here is to open the arms out like wings to really help open the heart. So whatever you want to do with your arms, maybe hands at heart center for a little bit more grounding, your choice. So keeping that heart nice and open, and maybe sitting those sit bones back a little bit to engage the quads. Take a breath in. Exhale, forward fold, Utkatasana, Uttanasana. Wow, those words are really similar, Utkatasana, Uttanasana. Anyway, forward fold is where we are. Take your left leg back into a lunge, lower the knee down. Again, you can slide a blanket underneath that knee if you'd like. And arms reaching up to the sky, Anjaneyasana. And here again, if you want to take any sort of movement with the arms, hands can come to heart center, even the front of the knee. But again, something nice, a nice little heart opener here might be what the doctor ordered. Heart opening, shoulder blades hugging in. Deep breaths. Feel the front body expand. Shine that heart. On your next breath, go ahead and shift back into the hips. Straighten through the right leg. Right toes curling up towards the sky, and really engaging this. So pressing, you can be super lazy here, it's cool, but maybe today press down through that right heel. It's like you're trying to drag it towards you. So the right hip crease is moving back in space. Take a breath in, wave the spine on. Exhale, soften your heart down towards your shin. I spurred my Siri for a second, that's weird. Anyways, forward fold here in your half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana, that's what it's called in Sanskrit. And then on your next breath in, we'll shift right back into that Anjaneyasana. Arms reach up, just for a breath or two. Exhale, hands come to free the right foot, pick up your left knee, step it back, downward facing dog. A little pedaling of the heels here. And I'm going to turn around so you can see me a little bit better here. Step the big toes together. Bend the knees generously. Spin the knees to the right and straightening those legs. Now coming into a side plank, right arm can reach, or if you're not feeling it today, you can set the left shin down. Maybe open the right arm up. Another option here is to lift the right leg. So find what works best for you today, okay? But if you're in the leg stacking version where the left leg is on the bottom, the right leg is on the top, and you want to move into a little bit of a back bend, take your right knee, lift it up, step your right foot behind your left leg. Lower your left hip down, almost to touching, and then from here, it's like a wave. So from your lower belly, you get to wave up through your mid belly, through your chest, and then let that energy flow out through your fingertips, lifting your gaze up. Keep the left elbow soft. This is called the wild thing or rock star pose, whatever you want to call it. Just a nice back bend, right? Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, circle down and around, plant your right hand down, hug your right knee in, stepping your right foot to your right thumb. Finding this nice low lunge. And we'll step the left foot up next to the right, forward fold. Take some time here. I'm going to move back to the front of my mat. Okay, take a breath in. Now, if you want to, from your forward fold, walk your right hand forward just a little bit, kind of up to the upper right-hand corner of your mat, and lift your left foot up and hug your left elbow in. So this is just kind of the seed of another pose that we're working on, but this is a really great way to start finding your balance over the right foot and the right hand. If you want to grow this pose into more of a challenging balance, then begin to extend, unfold the left leg long, reach the left arm to the sky in your half moon balance. Whew. So you can stay here, gaze at the floor. This will help with balance. And then slowly stepping that left foot to the right foot. Find your forward fold here. Take a deep breath in to ground. And as you exhale, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take a few breaths here. Let's come back to that nice flow of your inhalation and exhalation. Maybe close the eyes. Unclenching the jaw, letting the shoulders soften out of the ears. Untuck your tag that's like bugging you in the back of your shirt. Beautiful. And we'll move our way to the other side. Inhaling, arms reach up. Exhale to fold. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Again, you can grab a strap, a towel, whatever you'd like. Knees are bent. Let the forehead soften towards your shins. Reaching those arms up and over, pulling that single fist away from you or your strap or towel. Very slowly peel up halfway into your chair pose. Release your hands up to the sky. Your hands can come to heart center, or last option here is to open the arms out. Again, knees are tracking over the ankles here, not jutting forward. That's pretty hard on the knees. So keep everything lifting and hugging upward. Using your core for support. One more breath. Exhale, forward fold. This time we'll step that right leg back, dropping the knee down, arms reach up, Anjaneyasana. Maybe taking some cactus arms here to encourage that opening across the heart center. Shoulder blades hug in on the back. Release the hands down to frame your left foot. And shifting back into the left leg for your half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. So we're stretching, we're getting into the hamstring a little bit here. Press down through the left heel, curl the toes back towards you. Take your breath and wave the spine long, allowing the heart to soften towards your shin. On your next breath in, coming back forward into your Anjaneyasana. Plant your hands down, picking up your right knee. Step it back, downward facing dog. So pedaling your heels out once again. Stepping the big toes together. Take a deep breath, bend the knees generously. Pivoting the knees over, twisting the knees over to the left this time. Straighten out the legs and moving into your side plank. So Vashisthasana here, releasing your right shin, maybe taking the left leg up. So whatever variation you'd like to practice. If you're in the stacked leg version like before and want to move into that heart opener, go ahead and lift up your left knee, step your foot behind your right leg, lower your right hip down, almost a touching, but here's where we're going to build this pose from the lower belly, mid belly, chest, and extending that energy out through the fingertips into your back bend, your wild thing, or your rock star pose, or flip the dog. There's so many names for this pose. Keeping the right elbow soft. We'll circle that left arm down and around. Hug the left knee in. Step the left foot to your left thumb, finding your low lunge. From here, we'll step the right foot next to the left, and we'll move towards the center of my mat so you can see what I'm doing here. And then again, we're going to move into that balance. So we can take the first step by taking the left hand to the upper left-hand corner of our mat, leaning into the left foot, hug your right knee in. And then here, right elbow hugs in too. So this is the seed for our balancing pose. You can stay right here. This is an excellent way to begin to build balance and also just kind of telling the brain, okay, we're safe, we're good. But if you want to grow this a little bit more, maybe unfold the right leg out, the right arm can reach, gaze down at the floor. This will help with the balance. Remember to breathe. You know, sometimes when we're concentrating, we tend to hold the breath, but believe me, breathing is good here. And very slowly, we'll come back down. Release your right foot down next to the left. Take a nice, easy forward fold. Maybe widen the stance a little bit here. This might feel really good on the lower back. And we'll sway from side to side, sweeping your mat with your hair. Beautiful. Come back through center. And with that widened stance with your feet, lower your hips down into your malasana. You can throw a block or two underneath your sit bones or even practice this with your back against the wall, or simply come to seating if you'd rather not move into this yogi squat. But if you're here, bring the elbows inside of the knees, palms at heart center. Lift up and out of the shoulders. Continuing to breathe warm and wide in the belly. Down into the hips. I'm pressing down through, or rather outward through the elbows. Squeeze inward with the knees. Finding this activation of the hips. From here, release the fingertips down to the floor. Take a breath in, right arm reaches up to the sky. Lower the right hand down, other side, left arm reaches. And release, come back through center. Take your hands behind you, lower all the way to seated, extending your legs into a straddle. So nice wide straddle here, adjusting your yoga pants if you need to. And then your toes can be flexed or pointed, your choice. The pointed toes will give you more of a stretch along your shins. If you get shin splints a lot, like if you're a runner or you like to walk a lot, shins can kind of give you issues. So this is a nice one to help stretch the shins. The other direction, if you flex the toes, you get into the calves and a little bit more into the hamstrings. So find what works best for you. And we'll sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands behind you and kind of find that lift through the heart center. And if you collapse when you release your hands, that means that your legs need to be closer. So just go ahead and find what works best for you. We'll take a nice breath in, arms reach up, find length through the spine. Exhale, walk your hands forward any amount. And maybe a little gentle rocking here, a little sway. We'll we'll find a little pulsing here. So soften through the elbows. Keep the heart lifting forward. And as you pulse here, you might feel that inner stretch, the inner thighs. Go ahead and pause at your end range. So maybe that's resting the forearms down, or maybe your arms are on top of a block. Just as long as your heart is continuing to shine forward. We're not rounding down here. Or maybe your hands are you're up on your fingertips. So find what your end range is. On your next breath in, slowly make your way up to the top. Keep your left leg long, bend at your right knee. Bring the foot to the inner left thigh. Take a breath in, arms reach up. On your exhalation, we'll find a nice side bend. So we're reaching up and over towards the pinky toes. Maybe you're not even touching the feet here. You can also grab a strap for this. But we're reaching up and over with that arm, so we're not collapsing down, okay? Does that make sense? So hopefully yes. But right shoulder is lifting up to the sky. Again, we're aiming towards the pinky toes. If you're touching your pinky toes, awesome. If not, not a big deal. Right hip is anchoring down. And on your next breath in, make your way back up to the top. Turn to face your left leg. Frame your left leg with your hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Lead with your heart center as you find your forward fold. So forward fold any amount here. Again, if you have your strap handy, this thing comes in handy for all sorts of things. You can use it to help create a little bit more space in those arms. Check in with that spine. If you're kind of rounding and doing one of these turtley things, then lift up, let the shoulders relax, maybe even reset by walking the hands back and then finding a breath in. Exhale, find a little bit more room to forward fold. We'll pause here for a few deep breaths. Check out the state of your toes. Maybe you need a fresh coat of paint there. I do. Good. Slowly make your way up to the top. We'll take it one last little bit of a back bend. Right hand comes back behind you. Left fingertips like you're trying to touch the toes. Take your left arm, sweep it up and over, press down through your right shin. Lift up your hips and open your heart. So this is the baby version of that back bend we did earlier. Unwinding just as you entered. So circle down and around, lower the hips, switching sides. Right leg long, left knee bends, foot inside of the inner right thigh. Take a breath in, arms reach up. Exhale, up and over to the right this time. Again, you can have your strap handy. We're reaching, we're aiming for those right toes, the pinky toes. And on this side, I'm not as flexible, so maybe you're hovering here, but just as long as that left shoulder is wrapping up towards the sky, anchoring down through the left hip. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up to the top. Square to frame your right leg. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Now we lead with the heart center. As you exhale, forward fold, any amount. So again, handy dandy strap. You can use that around the ball of the foot. Or just simply reach for your shin. I'm trying to square that shoulder forward. On your way back up to the top, we'll take our left hand back behind, finding that back bend. So right hand reaches like you're trying to touch your toes. And circling the right arm up, press down through that left shin, lift up the hips, circle the heart up and open. And exiting just as you enter, down and around, and all the way down. Awesome. All right, we're gonna bend those knees and clasping on the back of the knees, lower all the way down very slowly. And once you're there, hug the knees into the belly. Just find a gentle rocking from side to side and forward and back. We're gonna rock and roll, create a little bit of momentum here. So you cross at your ankles, plant your hands, and step those knees back into your tabletop pose. Walk your hands forward. We're revisiting our puppy pose. So just as before, hands, hips remain over the knees, slide your shoulder blades apart, let your heart soften down. But this time we're going to take a variation. So bring the palms together, bend at the elbows, bring the thumbs to the nape of the neck. And you can wiggle your elbows forward just a little bit. Release the hands down. Roll all the way onto the belly. We'll take a nice shoulder opening here. This one's called open wing. Take your left arm straight out to the side so that if you're lying down on the ground, your gaze is right at your left thumb. You can also bring your arm down a little bit. It doesn't have to necessarily be in line with the shoulder. So down, we just don't want to take it higher than the shoulder. That's really hard on that shoulder there. It's just, it'll increase the intensity of the stretch. So I like to kind of keep it right here in line with my thumb. And then begin to use your right hand, press into the earth, and you can roll over, begin to roll over on top of the left shoulder. You have full control over how much you roll over onto your shoulder. Now, if this maybe just a tiny bit, that's enough for you today, but you can check it out. See, maybe stepping your right foot behind you, using your right hand to support and rolling all the way on top of that shoulder. Feel it out. See what works for you. One more breath. Slowly unwind, come back onto the belly. Flip your hair. Right arm reaches out to the side. Again, we're going to use the left hand this time to press into the floor, maybe just a little tiny bit. Maybe this is where you hang out for a few breaths, or maybe try taking the left foot, step it behind the right leg, stretching out the front of the shoulder. Beautiful. Come back onto the belly, pressing your hands into the floor, moving into child's pose for a few deep breaths. Slide your hands back to your knees. And here I invite you to take any final movements that you'd like to take before moving into your Shavasana. So perhaps some supine twists, happy baby, anything that's going to allow you to feel nourished within your practice today. And while you do that, I'm going to set up for our sound meditation during Shavasana. Taking a few more moments here to finish up. If you are practicing a side-oriented pose, make sure you honor both sides of your body. go. We can see. All right, and in your own time, begin to make your way to your Shavasana. Taking up some space. And your arms extend outward. Making sure you're nice and comfortable and supported. And use a bolster, blanket underneath your knees. Let go of all effort. Letting your breath begin to flow and seek out its own natural rhythm. Releasing the jaw. Part the back teeth. Soften over the forehead. Down over the temples. And allow even the eyes to relax. Fall away from the eyelids. Finding a place inside that knows peace. We all have peace inside, even though the outside world can seem challenging and difficult. It resides within our heart center. And anytime you notice your mind beginning to wander, acknowledge that you're thinking and let the thoughts go. Anchoring your awareness back to your breath, your body, and the peacefulness deep within. without making any movement whatsoever. Just simply savor in this stillness. Just for a few moments longer. Bringing your awareness back into your space and back into the body. Deepen the breath. And in your own time, begin to welcome gentle movement into the fingers and toes. And gently rock the head from side to side. As you feel ready, welcome larger movements, stretching arms overhead, reaching from the tips of the fingers to the ends of the toes, yawning to release the jaw. Begin to make your way over to one side, resting your head on your arms and tucking your knees into your belly. Resting here for a few moments to reconnect with any intentions that you may have set, any shifts of energy that you may notice. And with great care, use your top arm to gently press yourself to seated. Folding your hands at heart center, Anjali Mudra. It means heart. Mudra means to seal. So gathering all this peace in your heart and carrying it around with you throughout the rest of your day, maybe the rest of the week and beyond. And share this feeling with those in this world that need it. Namaste.